Ministers have now been sworn in, and now it is time to get to work. Many of them have now resumed office and promised to stabilize the economy in each of their ministries. President Tinubu swore in 45 ministers who took the oath of office on Monday. Let's take you back to the scene where the ministers were sworn in. TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde reports.
The ministers take the oath of office by pledging allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. These ministers will execute and implement the plans, programs and policies of President Bola Tinubu's administration. With their portfolios assigned to them, they have their jobs cut out already.
With such high honor comes tremendous responsibility. In this moment of abundant promise and peril in equal measure, all of you who have been sworn in have been called to distinguish yourself. Minister of Federal Republic you are, not minister of a region or minister of a particular state.
Now the ball has been set rolling. These men and women, 45 of them, now members of the Federal Executive Council, will resume at their desk in the various ministries to drive the vehicle of governance.
My portfolio has been a shocker to most people. It has been the major upset of the entire cabinet portfolio assignment. However, it's been deliberate. It's deliberate because whoever has an analytical mind will know that the hydrocarbon world, the world is moving away from hydrocarbon. Oil is even on the downward trend in global economy. You now have electric cars, you have gas, you have alternative fossil fuel and all of that. So the world is moving away gradually from oil. So solid minerals is the next growth factor of the Nigeria's economy.
We believe that by the grace of Almighty God and the support of Mr. President, we will be out there on the road 24 hours every single day to ensure that millions of Nigerians are elevated from poverty while we attend to humanitarian needs across board.
And I think all the expectations have been put into words by the President during the inauguration. So it's left for us to roll up our sleeves as ministers in his cabinet to ensure that the renewed hope agenda finds a strong footing.
I'm glad the President also included food security as part of agriculture. That's to say, to secure the food that the country needs. Not only that we have export potentials, but I believe that we can feed the country adequately and also export whatever that is left.
The first Federal Executive Council meeting is expected to be convened in the coming days. And just like President Tinubu, Nigerians have high hopes and expectations from the ministers as they carry on their newly assigned tasks. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, joining us in the studio is past Chairman, Ikeja District Public Affairs Analyst Olusesan Okunade. Good morning. It's good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning, Veronica. Good morning, Shita, and good morning to our viewers.
Good morning.
Right.
It's good to see you again. Good morning.
Now, let's begin with the statement the President made, charging the ministers when they took their oath of allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He mentioned some critical issues, talking about how it is important for them to restore public faith in government so that people can believe that the government can be a positive force of transformation. He also told them that they have to be accountable, transparent as well. There's also the aspect of they also ensuring that they are not ministers to a state or region, but they're ministers to the federal government or Nigeria as a whole. Recall that before the election, during and afterwards, there was this ethnic profiling and even religious profiling as well. So how critical or how important was it for him to make these key statements at a time such as this?
Thank you very much, Veronica. Let me first and foremost congratulate the new ministers on their appointment. I can see the smile on their face. I hope by the time we'll be looking this time, 4 years, we'll still be able to be, yeah. But this reminded me of the day I was taking the oath of office as chairman of the district society, full of smile. But you know, the next day it was like a month later, who sent me this work? That was the question. But because we were prepared, we were able to make that deliverable. Going back to your question, I want to believe that the president was not just reading the speech. He knows the importance of some of the words he has given. And permit me to say, Asiwaju is a senior colleague, a senior fellow of the institute, which I belong to. And he knows the importance of when we say accountability, transparency, integrity. They are words we don't joke with, because the bedrock of every organization rests solely on the finances. And the only way an organization can survive is by you being transparent in your dealings, be accurate at all costs, and bring out the integrity that you are made of. So charging the ministers with these keywords is to tell them that we go nowhere. If we are building houses and we don't have understanding of the cost implication, and there are a lot of words surrounding it, you know, propagandas here and there, what that does is that people will be seeing the building and they won't have confidence in you. Trust plays a key role when it comes to governance. Transparency, it plays a key role when it comes, and you saw what happened 2 months barely after his assumption of office, when he came up at the end of July to say, okay, the last 2 months, we've been able to save so much. The question people are asking is, fine, we've heard the amount that was saved from the subsidy removal. What are we investing this into? And I believe with the formation of these cabinets now, we can start holding people. Possibly that money is just sitting somewhere, yet to be assigned, because there are no ministers to actually execute some of your plan. Now, people will start asking questions. And when it comes to accountability, it's time-bound. We want to have a record of what you're doing in the next 100 days after your assumption of office. You know, while we're talking behind the scene, I said, for me, you talk about 3 months, 6 months, it's too long. Yeah. We want to hear you must give us direction. Beyond the word that we heard from them yesterday in the next 30 days. Look at the presidential committee that was formed on tax reform, fiscal policy and tax reform. They gave us time, like they said, okay, in the next 30 days, we're coming back to you to tell you this is our deliverable. The next 3 months, the next 6 months. It's not enough for us to give us 1 year, 6 months. Those are too long for us to. So if you come back after 6 months and there are no deliverables, what do? So we want to start tracking things. You know, for we accountants, we have monthly reports, which you must submit to the management. You don't wait after 6 months to now say, this is where we are. So that after the first month, we are able to track activity to say, okay, no, we are not getting this right. We need this to do. We need to improve this. We need to inject here the funds that are available. So the words, you know, chosen by the president are key. And it's just not mere words, just for just telling them what to do. It's what it will follow to letter. Accountants don't joke with those words. Transparency, accountability, integrity. The institute I represent will tell you that our watchword is accuracy and integrity. You are not accurate in it, it will be difficult for you to stand that ground of integrity. And I know that these ministers will actually want to write their name in gold by making sure that they're giving their best, knowing fully well that we have a lot of young ones there that still want to, you know, have the future, you know, aspire for greater things in the future.
So let's get down to brass tacks, you know, of these various portfolios that are assigned to these ministers. You know, you talked about, you know, something very related to money, and we know that the finance minister, Wale Edun, is someone who has got good pedigree. But do you feel that he's going to come under severe pressure? Because a lot of ministries are actually tied, you know, to him, because money is everything, really. So do you think he's going to come under pressure to address the issue of the weakened or the weakening or weakened Naira and make sure that Nigeria begins to feel the impact of governance? Yeah,
of all the ministers appointed or sworn in yesterday, I think there are 4 that are very critical to me, and finance is one of them. You know, I said it in the intro, for every organization to succeed, you all rely on the accountant, the CFO, because the salesman needs you, the media man needs you, the technical arms need you. Everybody rely on you. If you don't manage that portfolio as well, even the managing director, who at this platform we're talking now is the president, count on you, because you're definitely going to be giving him advice on what we informed his decision. He won't just give an express approval. There are certain decisions that the president will want to take as a finance person to kind of, you know, put caution on some of those things. So I can tell you for free that the man will be under serious pressure. Coming in when we have issues of subsidy removal, unification of the foreign exchange, working currency, unemployment as high as 34%, inflation 24%.
Yeah.
There is nothing, because you see, the man in FCT, the man in power, the man in agriculture, when they consolidate their budget, where are they coming? Finance. If the man refused to disburse as at when due, you see, there's one thing for you to have finance. There's another thing for you to disburse timely. Timeliness matters there. So everything surrounds that, and I love the second affiliation attached to him. It's not just Minister of Finance and coordinating economy. Yeah. So everything centered around him for the success of this administration. And the only thing I can say, considering his past achievements, time past, I think he needs to put in more. But there's a clause that I'm always afraid of. People have actually said some ministers are not round peg in the round holes, this and that. And I said, they are out there to coordinate activities. The major people that will do the work are the civil servants.
That's the issue. That's where, yes,
they are the masterminder.
Yes.
You watched Wike yesterday when he was addressing them.
We'll go to Wike first, but let's
But you see, the major issue is not, you can be sound, you can be good. Remember Bola Ige of those days?
Yes.
He came in and he said, I have sabotage in my ministry that will not allow me to function well. Who are we calling? The civil servants.
Is that what you see that could impede Wale Edun's success with regards to achieving what
he's not managing those civil servants well? A palm sec will, because you can't be everywhere. Absolutely. They've been there before now. They know what is going on. They will hand over those things to you. How are you going to manage them? You see, for me, I've always have a lot of them as friends, and they keep attacking me. I keep telling them that they are our problem, not even the ministers or the president. Because the people that will write the work, see, the work we are doing here now, your managing director is high up there. If you don't do it right here, I'm sure you can alter certain words that will bring penalty to the organization.
Absolutely.
So you are the tools that we're going, you are the tools, let me use that word, that the minister will write on to execute some of those projects. So if you are not there to do it in accordance to the vision of that particular person, there will be a problem. If you come in here and you blab, you do whatever, your managing director or your GM will be on hot seats. So that's my concern, that for all the ministry, the ministers can come and talk. I love your intro. Talk is cheap. How are you going to harness these civil servants? They are already having a focus. Looking at you, okay, it's coming to block all the avenues that I use in taking care of my family, or because you want to make name. I'm not a minister. I'm going to frustrate his effort. And what do? When the minister cannot be the one that will run to offices. He can only sign file. If the file is not on your table, will you go and pick it where they put it? You can't go there. Right. So for me, it's key for every minister to see how you address them. You can use the code and the odds, whatever. Don't become unpredictable. Let there be motivation. When you motivate, the carrot and stick. People that are performing, not eye service. that contribute. Look for a way to motivate them. They are key to the success of all these appointments. Otherwise, we'll come after 6 months, and you keep hearing that every effort I try, every step I carry, every move I make is being frustrated because you won't be the one to execute it. It is the civil servant that will actually look at the vision of each ministers and look how to carry out the execution. When you make available funds to go and execute a road, and somebody look at the contract and say, don't mind, or guy won't come. What do you expect? The man has actually done his bit as the minister.
Yeah.
You know, be able to lobby the possibly the president to have disbursement of fund. You've gotten the fund, and somebody is giving you the report to say, Vero, everything is intact. We are on course. And you are just relaxed as the minister, just believing that those things are there. 6 months down the drain, you visited the site. On visiting the site, what did you see? No action. Are you going to, you can imagine the time loss that you've had for that period. Are you going to recoup it? So I'm of the opinion that every minister must display that human relation here now.
Diplomacy as well.
Know how to play the card with the civil servant. Otherwise, you can make the talk, you can make the promises, and the people to execute you will just look at you and say, you are doing your talk. We have our own out there to carry out.
How do we then look into this matter of the civil service? Because if we are that bottleneck, why is it difficult to, you know, beam our searchlight into the civil service and perhaps purge it of all of these things that are, you know, impeding or that could impede in the progress of any minister, so to speak? Is it so difficult to achieve?
Not difficult, but if the foundation is wrong, what will you do as an individual? What is the pedigree of certain people that are actually engaged in civil service? Majority of the recruitment are man, no man. I'm sure the new ministers, definitely you see changes, people that have actually worked for them one way or the other come into being. You ask yourself, is it on merit? Most of the things I tell individuals is that civil service are supposed to be equipped with the people that will make deliverables because they decide the fate of practically everyone. Yeah. They formulate the policy. And if you have wrong policy being formulated by someone who lacks the experience, then those of us in private sector will definitely have nowhere to go. Just imagine the decision of the government as we speak, just on one particular thing, on unification of the foreign exchange. Yeah. Is actually affecting everyone. That is a policy.
Yes.
And now it's affecting everybody. So if you don't have the right set of people who understand the basis of things in all the ministry, that they are just there on the level of man, no man, not on merit, not on what they have delivered, the issue you'll be faced with is that your economy will keep shrinking. And that will be a problem on the part. So I think people need to revisit the idea of the recruitment process. Let's have people who have understanding of those ministries come on board, do what is needful so that they can provide the rightful support to whosoever that is there to supervise it. You will not do the work on your own. You need the people who have the understanding of that particular thing. So for me, fundamentally, recruitment process need to be revisited for, you know, people that come into federal government agency and not on the level of, you know me, I know you. Let me give my brother or my sister or my family or people from my town, you know, opportunity to be, you know, I'm there now. What exactly can I give back to my people? And that takes me back to what the president said, that they are not ministers of their states
or region.
They are there to satisfy people. So equip yourself with people who have understanding of the work that you have actually assigned to do. And with that, we get the best. And they devoid ourselves of mediocrity and some of the things that is actually happening there. You see, if you can take care of the civil servants, have understanding of them, then the work is actually on a platter of good.
Right. So looking at what the other ministry, which is the the minister who actually made the headlines yesterday, we talked about him, and she also, made allusion to him. Said he will step on toes, demolish buildings, and no matter who owns them. Do you consider that as someone who wanted to hit the ground running, or do you consider it as being brash and kind of insensitive, as some people are saying? Because at the end of the day, the governance is for the is for the betterment of the people.
When you look at the Minister for FCT, I'm sure you know him before now. He's a man who doesn't give. He's a man that stands by his words. He's a performer. Let me give you, I call him Mr. Infrastructure too, knowing some of the things he achieved there. You need to have a look at Abuja. Abuja is really not what our founding fathers called it. And I think he's been able to have little grabs of it, like we said, behind the scene, understanding of what is actually happening in that state. There are a lot of places, buildings here and there. I heard somebody asking question that this is the return of El Rufai back to Abuja. We need a situation to give a facelift. You need to step on toes if you must move. That's the truth. Because there will definitely be certain set of people that what they are out there is to impede your move. If you're able to crush them and you don't crush your leg, good luck to you.
We're not stepping on mines.
So you must definitely step on toes and manage situation too. It's give and take. And he said it yesterday. Look at me on my good side and my bad side. Whichever that comes your way, just accept it. If there are certain things that they are not doing right, you need to add people. I keep telling every individual that place of leadership is not a child's play.
Absolutely.
It's not a child's play. You must take the bull by the horn. Where you need to stand your ground, stand your ground. Don't mind the words or name that people will call you. What matters most is after your exit, what are you able to achieve? What are you able to bring to table that people will see the genuity and the sincerity of purpose of what you're achieving? So, him coming to say that, I don't think he's actually bragging, or it's what Abuja is a shadow. He said we'll develop the hinterland. We'll develop the likes of Buhari, Kubwa, and the likes. But the CBD, the central Abuja itself, should be a place where you can call the federal capital territory.
Yes.
It should be something you'll be proud of. He said he entered Abuja, and it's for real. No light, no street light functioning. Capital, capital of the Federal Republic, the giant of Africa. You go to small countries out there, in fact, majority of them are on solar. So he has actually been, carrying out, background check on the things he need to achieve. And we must give a face to that. Our capital must be capital indeed. So the area of demolishing houses, that is not strange to Wiki. We saw that happen while he was governor in this state. And he has asked, you must have your documentation intact. If you don't have your documentation intact, and it's not the fault from the ministry, then you have yourself to blame. Things must be done properly. Let's do it the right way, at the right time, and definitely we'll get the right result.
Absolutely. He's looking at restoring the Abuja Master Plan, which has been key for successive governments trying to implement over the years. But let's look at power, because you mentioned solar, and I'm wondering how you intend to see the minister handling that portfolio run, because he has said he's looking at ensuring that the power is accessible to every Nigeria and affordable. I wonder how you see him doing that, and alternatives right now to power like solar that you mentioned. Is that an area he should begin to look into, to explore as we are growing in population as a country?
Let me first and foremost just charge our people that they should not castigate our Minister for Power. There is a financial guru. What is he finding in the energy sector? Adebayo Adelabo. I think we wear the same cap. I'm a chartered accountant, and I major in power sector.
Okay.
And you see, our training open us up to several things. And in the power sector, I don't think you can push or relegate me behind the scene. Okay. Is to understand the dynamics. Right. First and foremost, it needs to work on the generation. How can we actually increase what we have from the 3,000 or 4,000 that is being generated to a higher level? The other arm is transmission. How do we wheel this thing that is being generated to the distribution arm? I heard while you spoke during the first segment of the last resort that are closer to you and I, the disco. Privatization, we thought we did the magic, but pretty difficult that as we speak, we are still faced with one challenge or the other in area of infrastructure, cobwebs, metering, gap, and the likes. He should point his finger to that aspect too. How can we unbundle that particular wing in such a way that every citizen will benefit from power? I have this to say, if you are able to have power supply, at least 20 hours, don't let me go to 24 hours, at least 20 hours, the creativity in every individual is brought to bear. The fact remains that I can decide. You see, I do mention to people that the level at which some of us grew up was not what we are. Those days when you go to school, you come back, you serve your siesta. You have a guarantee that you can wake up at night and read. These days, because of the power failure, you better do your assignment during the day. Otherwise, your teacher will scold you the next day when you get to work. So power is key. Artisans that are meant to bring the creativity and the innovation in them, to grow and contribute to the bottom line by paying their taxes. What do we get from them? There is no power to actually bring that to bear. People that have to make one or two things, how do they have to go about it? So power is germane. You know, I mentioned it, that there are certain ministries that are key to me. Finance, power. If you're able to plug that, and agriculture, if you're able to get it right with those things, because we can't be talking of having money, having power, and there is no food. So if you're able to manage these three ministries, successfully, I can tell you that we'll definitely give kudos to this president for a job well done. But the man coming from CBN, I can tell you, have little, have deep understanding of what works around in the power sector, and I'm sure it's definitely going to give a spike to it, and we expect that to come.
See what happens.
Right. We can only wish them all the best, but we'll leave the conversation here.
No,
now.
We don't envy them.
Chairman,
please don't do that.
Past Chairman, Ikeja District Public Affairs Analyst Olusesan Okunade. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.